What's going on, everybody? It's Brian Trippe. I'm here in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. So glad you decided to join us today for another episode of the Alaria Masterclass podcast. We're Alabama's only real estate podcast, and we're up to episode number 80. And I've got an incredible most of you guys know me, and you know that I'm a huge fan of marketing and branding. I think if you're a real estate investor and you're looking for your own deals, you are a marketer first and foremost, and then you're an investor second. That's why we talk a lot about marketing on this show, and we have a fantastic guest I'm very excited to get to, Mr. Grant Wise. How's it going today, Grant?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited to kind of dig in and talk about really specifically Facebook marketing, because I feel like that's kind of a subject that a lot of real estate investors just really have not figured that out completely. But short answer right now, you think you have figured it out?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a teaser. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna talk about how Grant has figured this thing out. We're getting leads, we're doing deals, doing massive deals through Facebook marketing. So we're going to get to all that. But first, I want to kind of give a little bit of background. I want to learn more about you. The first time I ever heard of you, actually, I saw you speak at the Wholesaling Summit, Tom Kroll's Wholesaling Summit back in Orlando in January. And I was, that's right when I started kind of dabbling in Facebook marketing and stuff. And I was just like, man, this dude's got his stuff together. This dude knows what he's talking about. So, but I want you to even kind of take us back before that, Grant. Tell us your story. How did you even get into kind of the marketing world that you're in today, especially in particular working with real estate investors to get them leads?
100%. So I got my start in business like way back in the day. I think I got my first taste of entrepreneurship when I was like 6 or 7. I had a little hustle, Aldi's, like the Aldi's grocery store. Yeah. You know how they make you put a quarter in to get the cart, and then you have to kind of like walk around with it and everything. But anyway,
no, I didn't know that, but yeah, that's cool.
We would sit by people's cars when they got done shopping, and we would help put their groceries away. In exchange, we got to take the cart back and keep the quarter, right? So that was like one of our first hustles. And then we figured out like, if we just tell them a story, like they give us more money. So we would talk about how we were trying to buy our mom a gift. It was her birthday coming up, or our sister needed socks, or it's like some crazy stuff. And we were making like $10 a day, $20 a day as 6, 7, 8-year-old kids.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got busted by my mom's friend who was a little concerned that I was wandered so far away from the house. I have been, I've been doing business for a long time. I actually got started though when I was 19. Mm-hmm. I went to play a little college baseball, had elbow surgeries 2 and 3, and came home. And my parents said, you're never going to be anything if you don't go get the college education thing. And I was like, well, I'm not like very book smart, but okay, like if that's what you guys want me to do, I don't want to do this, but I'll do it. And I failed history for the second consecutive semester in a row. And I was like, all right, look guys, like I don't know how much more proof you need, but I'm out on this college thing. It's over. It's done. And about the time I made that decision, my father, he had owned a construction company, and he fell off of a ladder and he hurt his back. And I said, Dad, don't worry about it. I'm going to take over everything. I'll do everything, and I'll just pay you 50%. I'm not doing the school thing anymore. Like, let's go. He was like, all right. I didn't realize that, how much goes into running a business until I started running a business, right? And so I think I wrote my dad 2 checks, and I was like, this is dumb. I'm giving this guy like half my money, and
wow.
I'm doing all this work. And so I made him an offer. I was like, look, I want to buy your little business here. And we did the thing. And I think I played golf 5 days a week, and I would do like one little construction project on the weekends, and that paid my bills. At the age of 19, I didn't really like want for money.
Wow.
But about the time golf season ended, I was like, man, I could really be doing something more with my life. And I had been in and around the roofing industry for quite some time, especially because the business I bought from my father was a gutter installation business. And so I was like, man, I'm going to start a roofing company. These roofers are driving around these big trucks, and they got all this nice stuff. And they're like, I want to be a roofer. And I didn't want to be like an actual roofer. I just wanted to own the roofing company. And so I did. I started a business, and about 2 or 3 months later, we got this massive hailstorm, and we ended up roofing like 111 houses that year. And so it was very unique. It was a very interesting time for me because I grew up, I slept in a garage most of my life. I slept on a couch most of my life. I didn't grow up. I didn't want for like too much, right? We had what we needed, and my parents loved me to death. So they did whatever it was to take care of us for sure. But I didn't really grow up with a lot of financial sense. I didn't grow up, nobody taught me how to balance a checkbook. I didn't grow up around money. I didn't grow up around a lot of those things. I just knew that one day I was going to be rich and famous somehow. I thought it was going to be through sports and athletics, and it turns out that didn't go down. But I'm this 21-year-old kid, and I just pocketed $186,000 that year. We roofed that many houses.
Wow. And
I thought, like, okay, I'm going to be rich forever. This is a lot of money. And, it's all funny how it kind of all plays out now. But
Grant, what year was that?
That was back in 2009.
Okay.
2010. It was April of 2010 that we kind of got.
So you're a pretty young guy. Okay.
I'm 28 now, I think.
Okay.
27, 28. I think I'm 28. Yeah, I'm 28. So I was a really young guy back in the day. I was, really, really young guy. And so anyway, point of that is, like, I started spending so frivolously. I started doing what I saw my parents do. I saw my mom and my stepfather struggle, and I saw my dad and my stepmom buy toys and, drink and live the lifestyle. And I always started hitting the bar pretty hard. My brother was going through a divorce at the time, so obviously that was a perfect storm there. And I started buying equipment, and I started doing this, started doing that. And it came time where I was at this crossroads where I wasn't making enough money, but I was spending a ton of money, right? So I was kind of entering into this negative cash flow world where I didn't have enough coming in. And so I was like, well, obviously I'm really good at starting companies, which was dumb to say, but I'm really good at starting companies. I'm going to go start more businesses. That's the solution to all my problems. It wasn't, hey, Grant, quit being an idiot. Stop drinking. Stop doing all this stuff. It was like, I need to go make more so I can keep doing what I'm doing. And I started 4 more businesses. We started a fertilizer company, a lawn company. We started a real estate company. We started all kinds of businesses. And we ended up doing $1.2 million that next year, and I lost money. Because while I was making more money, I was also spending more money. And I was full of pride and arrogance and ego, and I was full of, this whole victim mentality. All of these things are happening because, I wasn't taking responsibility for anything. And finally, somebody grabbed me. It was an old baseball coach of mine. He was like, man, and I was down to my last thing, right? So, they were about to repossess my Jeep that I had at the time. And I was like, man, this is the last thing I got. I called my coach to see if he would help me make the payment, which was funny. But he kind of sat me down. He's like, man, you got so much pride. And from the outside looking in, you don't deserve anything that you have in your life right now. You kind of deserve the situation you're in. Wow. And from that moment, I'll never forget, I did a complete total 180. And it took a little time to dig myself out of that hole. But I was legally bankrupt, 23 years old. And I don't know if you heard a second ago, we started a real estate company when I was 21. So there were kind of like 2 years there where I was working in this real estate company, and I was trying to help these older real estate agents understand social media, and I was traveling the country and I was recruiting, and there was a lot of stuff going on. But obviously with my construction businesses going down, it was kind of taking my name with it, and it was September 13th, 2014. The people that I brought in to help me finance the real estate business, they said, hey man, we think you're the reason this company's not growing the way that it could, and we want you to leave. So this company that I just poured everything into, I didn't take a paycheck from, and had unfortunately let other businesses go under because of, I'm now being asked to leave. And I'm sitting here like, I got no idea what I'm going to do. Like, this is all I've known for the last couple of years. And I sat back, thought about it. I said, you know what? I want to go where I'm appreciated, not where I'm tolerated. Right. And I signed it all away, signed my name off of it, said, okay, you guys do what you want. And I sat back for a week and freaked the hell out. Like, I got no idea what's coming up next. And I was kind of getting into the internet marketing space around that time. I was teaching a bunch of people about social media, and I was really getting integrated into it. And finally I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to teach real estate agents what I've been trying to teach them all along, which is how to sell houses using Facebook ads. And so I had $25 to my name, legit. I was legally bankrupt. And my girlfriend, who's my now wife, jokes that she's the one that loaned me the $25 that I had, that day. And I put out a Facebook ad for my social media bootcamp course. And it was so cool. Within about a few days, this woman by the name of Tanya Thompson responded to the ad. We jumped on the phone, made $1,000. And it was fascinating what happened like from that moment forward, because she went on to sell 18 houses in less than 90 days.
Wow.
And pocketed like 150 G's. And everybody that I was starting to work with through that first year, kind of getting integrated into this, was getting to 6 figures in less than 8 months. All they had to do was just listen to what I said, and they got the results. It was really, really powerful. And then I started getting into masterminds, and people said, okay, here's how you can grow this. And we packaged it up in December of 2015 into what's now known as Modern Agent Mastery. And we grew that to now over 1,600 members in 30 months. We built a almost 8-figure business in a really, really, really short time frame. And we've just had so much fun making an impact, using a lot of the major life lessons that I learned back in the day.
Totally.
Now it's almost 5 years ago, which is crazy to think about, but using a lot of those major life lessons to help prevent other business professionals from making those same mistakes. And all of that success kind of rolled into the real estate investing space. I think very naturally, I had a ton of investors like, well, can you make Facebook ads work for investors? And we actually pushed that opportunity away for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like, oh no, I learned that I need to focus. I don't need to do right. all these different things. And it was about a year ago now, we started testing Facebook ads for real estate investors. And it took us about 2 to 3 months, but we started generating motivated seller leads anywhere between $8 and $24 a lead. And
what? Come on.
Yeah. And some markets are higher, some markets are lower, right? But it was pretty profound. We launched Modern Investing Mastery in October of 2017. And we actually got a lot of kickback because nobody believed that we could do what we said we could do. And so I, never having wholesaled a deal in my entire life, no prior knowledge, I had to call my buddy Corey Boatwright to teach me how to write the contract up. I generated a lead for myself, and in less than $150, I bought this $40,000 property. We sold it in less than a few days for $52,500. After title and everything, we netted $10,802, I think, for less than $150 in Facebook ads. And I had never done it before in my entire life, which goes to show you, like, if you're a marketer before you're anything, right? Don't let that lesson skip out of this conversation. But
yes,
man, we just had so much fun getting to add value to these different communities and getting the opportunity to do things that people say can't be done. I think is something that I love doing, is proving the impossible, because there's still today, I talk to so many investors that don't believe that what we do is a real thing, that
right.
These have to be made up numbers. But
okay.
It's been really cool. You take guys like Cody Hoffline with Wholesaling Inc. You know, we helped him make over $30,000 on less than $600 in ad spend. And it's, you know, it's just like story after story after story of like that continues to roll around. So that's kind of how I got here, man. It's kind of a long road to get here, but it's been fun.
All right, so Grant, I've got a lot of stuff. I took a lot of notes. I got a lot to ask you about, especially the $8 to $24 a lead.
Yeah, that's.
I don't believe you. so we're gonna dig into that in a second. There's a lot of stuff that you talked about. Obviously, I just want you to kind of reiterate what you just said. Maybe talk about this a little bit more. You're a marketer first. You just got done saying you really don't know that much about wholesaling. You may have kind of understood, like, I guess, how it works, but to actually do it, and you went and did a wholesale deal pretty much on your own, maybe with a little bit of help, just by doing the marketing.
Yep.
It just speaks to the power of the biz. If you're a wholesaler and you're in the business of finding discounted property, you're not a real estate investor. You are a marketer. Just kind of talk to that point for a second.
You're a marketer before you're anything. Like, you know, and I'm going to get really like blah here, but like, I could cure cancer. You could cure cancer. If nobody knew that you did it, you'd never be able to do it. Right. So if you sit back and you look at your business and you look at, like, man, I'm struggling with sales. I don't have enough opportunity. I don't have this, that, and the other. I could buy 1,000 houses today, but I don't have anybody that wants to sell it to me. Right.
That's right.
That's a huge problem to have. Whereas I couldn't buy 1,000 houses today if I had the opportunities, but I can go get those opportunities like this. And I've told, I don't know how many people, that you are a marketer, you're a media company before you are anything. And if you look at the major companies that exist out there, look at Apple, look at Starbucks, look at Chevy, look at GM, look at Ford, look at any of these major companies, they're media companies. Like, you look at these businesses, and the reason that Apple can manufacture cars is because they have a buyer's list that encompasses the entire globe. So when they say we're going to buy a car, somebody owns an Apple phone, like, I probably should drive the Apple car too, right? And so if you look at that from an investment standpoint, if you own media in your local community, meaning you own a database that has names, email addresses, phone numbers, and physical addresses, you can say whatever you want, obviously within reason, to whoever you want every single day of the week. Do you think that you're in a more strategic position than the investor that's going to be knocking on doors for 8 hours a day, if they can knock on doors for 8 hours a day, right? It's something that you really, really, really must pay attention to. You're a marketer before you're anything. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter what you cure. It does not matter. When companies go out and want to launch new products, they send it right over to their marketing team first and foremost to do research and to study and to analyze and to figure out how they're going to be able to get this product to market. So you're a marketer before you're anything.
It's great stuff, man. That's awesome. Couldn't have said it better. I want you to go back and tell me, dig into a little bit deeper about the story about the old baseball coach that came, that you hit him up to try to help you make a car payment, but essentially he gave you, it sounds to me like he gave you the advice that really, kind of catapulted you to where you are today. But if you were anything like I was, I feel like our stories are kind of similar actually. But if you were anything like I was when I was 21, 22, 23 years old, I wasn't listening to anybody. Why do you think at that point in time you actually listened to what he had to say?
I think because I had exhausted my yeses, right? I had exhausted the people that were like, you're going to be fine. Yeah, here's a little money. We'll take care of you. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And finally somebody had the gall to stand up and say, hey, dude, you're being an idiot. Like, and I didn't have anybody else that I could hit up. Like me hitting up my old baseball coach, which was like a father to me, was literally the last, like, I don't want to do this, but I got to do this. And it was the best thing that ever could have happened. And for him to say, no, you need to let that thing go. Like, you need to look around, open your eyes. You understand what's going on around you. Your entire world has crumbled. You've lost everything, your house, your relationships, your family.
Wow.
And what do you want to ruin this relationship too? Like, you're going to ruin this relationship over $800. And, I think it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Obviously I loved and respect, the guy. He's still like a father figure to me. But it was just nothing but stone cold truth. And I can't honestly tell you what it was that something flipped in my mind. And I turned over the keys to that Jeep the next day with a smile on my face to the repo man. And we went out. He actually helped me. He helped me buy an old 1985 pickup truck that, I was really into old vehicles at the time. I grew up with a lot of that stuff. And, I don't know what it was, but I believe that every human being is the sum of a few things. God gives us life, free will, and opportunity. And you have the free will to choose what you're going to do in every single situation. Where you sit right now, you are the sum of those choices.
Right.
And I had just made all the wrong choices and decided that, okay, I'm going to start making the right ones.
Yeah.
And
so I listened to a podcast you were on recently with Tom Kroll. I listen to their podcast every once in a while, and Tom said it, and Tom has been to our RIA. Tom's been on our podcast. Guys, go back and listen to this guy. He's got a lot of wise things to say for sure. Big time influencer in our business. But he said something about hitting rock bottom. Man, there's something about rock bottom. When you get there, you can do whatever you can build whatever you want to build at that moment, and make it the most beautiful, majestic thing in the world. And you got the most solid of foundations at rock bottom. And I don't know, do you feel like, is that where you were? Do you feel like that's where you were, rock bottom?
Not yet, because I had to take a couple more falls. Me turning around and saying, I'm going to change my life. It didn't just change overnight, right? So I had to put some work in and some time in. And I believe, that was within like a month or two of rock, like total rock bottom. And it was one of the most amazing things ever, because when I finally didn't have a choice but to quit caring about what other people thought of me. When I finally removed every single relationship in my life, when I finally got rid of all the equipment, the toys, the businesses, everything, the only thing I had was myself. And, obviously it's in those moments that, the Lord will grab you at the perfect time. And that's exactly what happened to me. And so I got to rebuild on a foundation of faith that was just unwavering and needed nothing, right? And I had everything that I needed at that moment in my life. Like, I didn't need any cars. I didn't need anything else. I had everything that I needed because of my faith. And so building on that has been rather interesting, because as we've grown new levels of success, we've treated ourselves to nice things, but these things aren't necessities anymore. Whereas when I grew some big money back in the day, the bar tab was a necessity, because that bar tab was what it was, right? That car was a necessity. Those things were necessities. And when I got the chance to, go through rock bottom and rebuild with the right things in mind, that is what allowed me to build, a business that was going to succeed no matter what, and is going to succeed no matter what, is because of the foundation that's laid underneath it.
For sure. And guys, and we're talking about this because I feel like there are a lot of people probably listening to this that may feel like they're there, or there may be that person that's listening to this that has been working that job, and they've been working that dead end job over and over, and that's their life. And just to let everyone know that there's more out there. Obviously, there's more to life than that. And a lot, maybe some people listening to this that are just, got some junk in the way that just need to cut. That's a hard thing. You just talked about, not caring what people, think about you. It's a very, very difficult thing. And just kind of getting there and getting to that place is what's going to actually allow you to kind of take it to the next step, get to that next step that you're searching for. Well, Grant, I would love to thank you for sharing your story, by the way. I appreciate that. I think a lot of us can learn from other people's stories. I want to dig into Facebook marketing in particular, Facebook ads for real estate investors to try to find motivated sellers. Do you mind if we talk some, kind of step one, step two kind of thing? I love to give instruction. I love to give step by step. But before we do that, I want you to tell me about this $8 to $24 a lead garbage that's obviously not true, that you just said that.
Can't be true. It can't be true.
Tell me about this. You're getting Facebook leads. So real quick, I tried Facebook ads for about 3 or 4 months, and my average lead, cost per lead, not deal, not, my cost per lead was in the 300s.
I'm sorry, bro.
So it was pretty quick that we needed to kind of stop that. So
right.
$8 to $24 a lead. That doesn't sound.
I've never wholesaled a house in my life, and my first deal cost me less than $150. So
yeah,
and we've seen that, right? You were at the presentation with Tom and those guys in Orlando, and we were showing you deals that had gotten done for less than $25, deals getting done less than $125. You got Cody Hoffline doing a deal for less than $600, and whether you believe it or not is fine either way, right? The market will get you in a situation where you'll want to listen and be receptive to what we're talking about. We started doing Facebook ads 5 years ago for real estate agents, and nobody believed the stuff that we were saying. Our first marketing campaign was how to sell a home for every $102.35 you spend in Facebook ads, and nobody believed that, right? But thankfully, the people that did listen, because we got guys now that have made over $500,000 in the last few years from the stuff that we've taught, just selling retail real estate, right? Not investing.
Right.
And so whether you believe it or not is fine. Like, it's okay, but don't let, maybe the mistakes that you might have made, maybe the targeting you might have messed up, maybe the offer you didn't get right, deter you from believing that Facebook as a platform is not the greatest platform that we have had in human history for making money, because it is. And I not my proof aside from my own business, you got to look at the millions of people now that are making money from Facebook advertising.
Yeah.
And so there's a few prongs here, and I'm going to go on like a 10 to 15 minute rant, if that's okay with you.
No, let's go. You're going to give me some step-by-step things that we can do, right?
Yeah. I'm going to break down two things. All right. So first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the consumer levels of awareness, and then, which is why maybe your cost per lead was $300. And then I'm going to talk to you about the 3 simple steps, the 3 simple phases of marketing as it pertains to Facebook advertising. Okay, so the consumer levels of awareness. These are very simple, and some of this is going to seem very kindergarten, but I read a great book called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. It's around a $900 book on advertising. I highly encourage you guys to get it. Maybe reach out to me privately. It might have a way for you to get it a little less on the expense side, but it was worth its weight in gold for what it taught me. And the three basic levels of awareness are this. So the motivated seller, and I'm going to talk about motivated sellers right now. I'm going to talk about wholesale. The motivated seller is unaware, okay? And that sounds rather rookie or kindergarten, but they're unaware of his, her desire or need for the real estate process. And we could spend all the money in the world that we wanted to trying to get this person into the next phase of awareness, which is home aware, but it would quite honestly be a huge waste of time, money, and energy. But this is unfortunately what most of the real estate industry does right now. You send out direct mail, and what you're hoping is that somebody goes from, oh, I don't need to sell my house to, yeah, I should sell my house. You're trying to convince somebody that they have to sell their property to you, or that they should, right? And then you put out your bandit signs. You know, you sneak out at 10 o'clock at night, run from the cops, and make sure you get your bandit signs out there so that you get people calling in. And what you're doing is you're hoping that somebody's going to drive by and go from that unaware phase of awareness psychologically and move into that home phase of awareness. Like, oh, that guy buys houses. I should probably give him a call, right? So that's not typically how those things happen. And so you kind of get my point. What we want to do is we want to put the right message in front of the right person. So we want to target people that are in this home phase of awareness. The people in the home phase of awareness are aware of their desire or need for the real estate process. Now, something that's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important is that you understand how people get into this phase of awareness in real estate investing. It's not because they just won the lottery, okay? It's because something traumatic has happened in their life. They lost their job, they're getting a divorce, they lost a family member, and there's a ton of other reasons. And so one of the things that I loathe about the investing industry right now is this whole numbers game theology. Just, it's a numbers game, man. It's a numbers game. While it is, it isn't. People like people, right? You want to build relationships. That's how you do more deals than anybody else in the marketplace. And what we see so many investors fall on their face doing is trying to sell somebody that's just gone through a traumatic event. It's nearly impossible, because when we generate a lead for $6, $8, $10, $12, whatever, right? And we pick up the phone and we call that lead and we say, hey, we want to buy your house, right? What you are forcing someone to do is you are forcing somebody to admit the reality of their unfortunate situation. My mom just died and I got to sell my house. Crap. I just lost my job. I got to sell my house. I just got a divorce. I got to sell my house, right? These are unfortunate situations. And if you think that in less than 5 minutes you can curate a relationship that's going to make somebody admit to themselves that they're going to make this move and this decision just like that, you have lost your damn mind. Forgive my language, right? So when people move into this phase of awareness, it's because of a traumatic event, and you have to understand that. You can't just keep marketing, thinking that you're going to break through this, right? So when we do market to people that are in this home phase of awareness, we market more opportunities, right? Because they're not interested in Brian Trippe's going to buy their house for cash in less than 7 days. They're interested in the result, which is that they could sell their house and get cash. They don't care about Brian Trippe. They don't even want to talk to Brian Trippe, right? They're interested in the end result. That's why they're opting in, or that's why they're becoming a lead for you. It's once they do that they enter into the third phase of awareness, which is home plus you aware. Home plus you aware. So the prospect is aware of his, her desire or need for the real estate process, and now they are aware that you can help them. This is the magical phase that people enter into. And once they enter this phase, research begins. Nobody wakes up on Tuesday and says, I'm going to sell my house right now. It's just not how it happens. They got to go through a life event. They have to process that. And then they have to go through that process of moving down that line. It's just like in residential real estate. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to go buy a $450,000 house today. You legally can't unless you have that cash sitting around, right? So you have to understand the psychology. And then once you understand the psychology of the prospect, you understand what to put in front of them that's going to make them want to convert. So when somebody opts into your campaign, video marketing becomes increasingly important, because I think most investors would agree if they have a large closing rate if they could just get in front of somebody. And statistically, that's true, right? They're going to do business with you if you can just get in front of them. More than 50%. I don't know all the stats on that, but when somebody opts into your campaign and they come into that home plus you phase of awareness, the best thing that you can do is give them opportunities to obviously have a conversation, not try to sell them anything, right? You've got your book there, Nothing's for Sale, right? Not try to sell them literally anything. Build a relationship with these people over the phone, over text, over video, over Facebook, over Snapchat, over Skype, over LinkedIn, over Instagram. It does not matter. Whatever you do, just try to build a relationship with them. The sales will come as a byproduct of that relationship being created. What we can do from a marketing standpoint is we can remarket to them, retarget to them video content that helps them understand the selling process, and it helps them understand who you are. Right? Those are two very, very, very important things. So when you understand those three phases of awareness, you understand that like you can put the right message in front of the wrong person and you're not going to win. That's why junk mail has grown to a 0.00001 whatever run rate, right? Where it works that few amount of times. That's why billboards don't work that well. That's why radio doesn't work that well. That's why TV doesn't work that well. That's why those things don't work that well anymore.
So Grant, let me interject. I'm sorry. Let me interject on this. That last point you just made, where you want to retarget the people and you want to, you want to do like everything you're saying. Like I agree with you 100% in traditional marketing. I think that that's true. I would think from the outside looking in, I'm not an expert. You're an expert. I would think from the outside looking in that is not necessarily true when it comes to a motivated seller, because there's more, it's more timely. Like I would think that people like time is of the essence, and you don't have time to build your brand and get your name in front of them, because once someone's a motivated seller, they're only a motivated seller for a very small period of time. Mm-hmm. Once they sell that house, they're no longer a motivated seller. So why is that way of thinking wrong?
I don't necessarily believe that it's all wrong. But like a lot of the video content that I syndicate, if you get trapped in my marketing funnels, you're going to see a new video every day. It's not like we're going to take a long time to build this relationship. Sure. You're going to start seeing new content daily. Mm-hmm. And that can all be strategically set up. So I don't believe that it's something where you need to put them into this elongated form of marketing that takes forever, because as you said, it is time sensitive. But I do believe that what you're having to overcome is trust. Mm-hmm. Because I want to be very, very blunt and honest, the consumer does not trust the real estate investor.
That's right.
At all. So it's a huge hurdle you have to overcome.
Sure.
In the sales process. And it's something we have to overcome all the time, right? If I told you that I could help you generate leads for $8 to $26 a lead, right? There's going to be $10,000 and you pay me right now. You're going to have some trust issues, right? You're going to have some major trust issues. I don't believe you. I don't believe anything that you said, right? Show me proof. The first things that come to your mind.
I feel like you already have.
Right.
You start name dropping all these people that are doing deals.
That's true. But if we just met each other, that's probably not how that engagement and that conversation is going to go. So if you put out a campaign, and let's say, and I'm going to go into the specific campaign that you should use, but let's say you put out a homes list campaign, which is a list of homes that you as an investor buy, people opt into. You instantly have to start building trust with this person. You have to start building a relationship with this person, because if they do not trust you, they are not letting you walk in that house and pitch them on buying the product, right? That's not how it's going to go down. So putting that video content out there, I believe, is so, so important. Yes, you can build a thriving real estate company on 0.0001% success rates. But why continue to do that when it could be better? It could be way better. It could be 3 to 5%. It could be 10 to 15%, right? If you were more intentional about building relationships with people instead of just trying to sell them crap, right? So that's why I believe you have to build that relationship, because if you walk in a house with somebody, and Brian, you can attest to this, if you walk down and sit on that seller's couch, you're not just going to start talking about options. You're going to start talking about the Harley Davidson picture on the wall, right? You're going to start talking about this house that I bought. And I think you probably heard the story when I was in Orlando, but this guy literally didn't have a shirt on. And these couches from the 80s that were crusty and nasty and disgusting. And I walk in and I set my butt down on that crusty couch and I start talking about whatever it was that I could find. And the first thing that he latched onto was hunting in Iowa. He said, I'm from Iowa. I said, you like hunting? And he said, oh man, that frown that this man had on his face turned into a smile because he started reminiscing all these good times he had back in the day. And then, hey, do you mind if I walk around the house? Not a problem. Go take a look. I walk in, this man's wallpaper, basically, there were a bunch of flags, but it was like wallpaper of Harley Davidson, different Harley Davidson flags. I start walking in and talking about Harley Davidsons. I know nothing about Harley Davidsons other than it is a motorcycle that says Harley Davidson on it. That's about as much as I know. I don't need to know all that stuff because I just said, hey, you like Harleys? This man riffed for 20 minutes about Harley Davidsons that he used to have, right? So if I would have just walked in and been short and been cold and, hey, man, I know you're in a bad situation, but you want me to buy this house for next to nothing so that you can go on, move on down the road, right? I know you're about to lose your home. You have nowhere else to go, right? It's just not the type of interaction that's going to get the desired result. And that's what also made that deal easy because I was a friend that sat there for an hour and a half, which is why he threw out a price tag that was, better than I could have even probably offered. And, we went on about our business. So when you have to overcome trust because we're in a situation right now where the market does not have to sell to you, retail houses are selling faster than they have in a half of a decade, if not almost a decade. We are selling houses for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking, multiple offer situations. We are not in a market where you're a solution that I 100% need. Because if time isn't the problem, I could wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks and sell the house this way, right? So I don't disagree that time's of the essence, but that will never waver my belief that you have to build a relationship no matter how much.
Right. So time is of the essence, but it sounds to me like there's some specific strategies that you are going to use as the marketer who's going to put specific ads in front of these people. Grant, do you want to go on to that second? You said you have 3 simple steps that you want to go through. I want you to include that the almost the rapport building, the trust issues, getting over the trust issues through marketing.
Okay. So there's 3 simple steps, 3 simple phases to this. Phase 1, right? Traffic, Facebook ads. Traffic. Phase 2, funnels, landing pages, websites, email sequences, all that different type of stuff. And then phase 3 is conversion, right? So the entire reason that we run advertisements is to start a conversation so we can build a relationship so we can close a deal. Simple as that, right? So the first thing that you got to do is you got to put the right offer together. We've tested and proven time and time again that these homes list offers work exceptionally well because people are genuinely curious.
What is that? What's a homes list offer?
The homes list that we would put together is, hey, enter your name, email address, and phone number to get a free list of homes that we buy. And basically that's like, okay, we buy homes in this condition. We buy homes in this condition. We buy homes in this condition. It's just like a checklist basically. So if somebody owns this rundown piece of crap house that has cockroaches in it, they look and like, oh, that's a house that they buy. Okay, great. I'm going to reach out to them. Right. So it's a really simple concept that I think is almost too simple in a lot of people's minds, but we get opt-ins $8 to $12 all day long for people that want to get that list of homes that an investor would buy.
Wow.
And so when they opt in, right, because of your Facebook advertisement, they're going to start getting emails. They're going to start getting texts. They're going to start getting phone calls. They're going to start getting social interactions. They're going to start getting videos. You got to have a very, very well-defined sales process once somebody opts into a campaign. And the entire premise of those communications is to get somebody on the phone so you can start a relationship with them. And so let's backtrack just real fast. Your Facebook ad literally could say, attention, whatever market, and this could be your headline, attention, whatever market. Make sure you use emojis because it will increase your engagement 56% right now, which is awesome. We have compiled a free list of homes that we buy in whatever market. Download this free report right now to see if your home qualifies or something like that. Something really, really simple like that.
Yeah.
Literally click a link, and right now we're using a lot of lead ads because they're Facebook's showing major preferential treatment to lead forms. But
yep.
They'd submit their information through a lead form. We get their information and we start calling and start following up. And it's really no more complicated than that. But when somebody clicks and confirms that lead form, what we do is we put them into a retargeting audience and we start immediately remarketing proof, relationship-based content about me, about the process. So a logical next step video that they would see, hey, here's the top 5 things you must do and must know in order to sell your home for cash right now, right? And any investor that I know at all could put out a 3 to 5 step video that talked about how they could sell their home. Next video is about Brian Trippe. Hey, this is me. This is what I am. This is what I do. This is how I help people. If you'd like me to help you, great. Awesome. Let's move forward. Third video that would make sense is proof. It's literally just a video of somebody that you've helped buy their house recently that makes sense. What this consumer is going to do is they're going to immediately start searching you out. They might not respond to your communications. That's part of the process. And in a lot of cases, it's not going to go down like that immediately. It takes a little bit of time for them to build a relationship with you, because that's where we're at now as a society. I'm not going to talk to you until I've built my relationship with you. It's called a parasocial relationship. It's literally something that we've been building with celebrities for a long time. You guys could all think about a celebrity that you're fascinated with right now. What you're in is a parasocial relationship. It's a one-sided relationship that you've built with Jennifer Aniston, even though she doesn't know who you are, right? So your consumer is doing the exact same thing with you. Mm-hmm. They're building a relationship with you, and you have no idea who they are. Right. So what Facebook does is they create 2 audiences for us based on this video interaction. They create an audience of people that have watched at least 10 seconds, and then they create an audience of people that watch at least 95%. If they just watch 10 seconds of the video, we send them to a next video that's in our lineup of videos that we want to put out. If they watch 95% of that content, what we're doing is we are remarketing one more time with an opportunity for the consumer to pre-book an appointment to meet with us. Mm-hmm. And this is a powerful, powerful strategy, because while investors are out there cold calling for appointments, my marketing system's working for me 24/7, 365 without fail. And it is pre-booking appointments that have become a lead. They know what I do. They've watched my video content, and they want me to come out and they want me to buy their home. And we're seeing a lot of our appointments being generated anywhere between $80 to $150. Somebody's giving us their name, their email, their phone number, their physical address, and they're literally pre-selecting a time from my calendar for me to come out and meet them to buy their property.
That's awesome.
Which is powerful, right? So if you can get those 3 simple phases down, right? Facebook ads, a good offer to the right person, and a good conversion strategy, you'll win with Facebook ads. You don't need 1,000 leads a month. You don't even need 50 leads a month. You just need a good sales process in place. You need the right offer in front of the right person.
That's right.
And you can close deals.
So I want to talk about Facebook ads in particular, because you use a lot of language, and you were talking about a lot of stuff that a lot of people may not understand. So I want to talk about this. You're talking about a person who's basically raised their hand or maybe filled out a form and said, hey, I might be interested, or at least want this download. At that point, Facebook really does all the heavy lifting for you, because you're sitting here, we're going to send them this video, then we're going to send them this video. Talk about how Facebook even does all that, and how do you know if someone watched 10 seconds versus 90 seconds and all that stuff?
So Facebook, through the use of pixel tracking, can track basically anything. We can track, how far on a page somebody scrolls. We can track if they click a certain button, or if they hover over a certain thing, or, we can track all of his interactions. So when somebody submits a lead form, it's an option within Facebook's ads manager. You can go into audiences and you can click create audience. And when it asks you what type of audience you want to create, you literally just select people that filled out my lead form. Right. And Facebook will begin to build an audience for you. Yeah. And once that gets up 50, 100 people, you can start remarketing that audience with video content. And then Facebook can tell you to the second how long. They literally give you performance breakdowns on your video. They can show you how long people are watching your video. Yeah. On average, you can see a lot of that historical data that they spit out. Based on that, you can even optimize your ads for a specific time frame, and Facebook will show those videos to people they believe are going to watch your video for 90 seconds.
And how do they believe that that person's going to watch that video?
Data. So, look, the power in Facebook is not in its 2 billion users plus. It's in the fact that we can go out and develop a client avatar of a motivated seller, and we can strategically advertise through Facebook to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook's going to do their best to show our advertisements only to those people. And so they do that through search history.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Facebook can see your financials. They can see everything that you do on your phone. They can see everything you do on your computer.
Yep.
If you have the microphone settings on your phone, they can listen to you talk. There's a lot of ways that Facebook's paying attention to what you're doing.
Yep.
And they buy data just like Google does, right? Google does the exact same thing. It's how they have SEO, not SEO, but AdWords and those different types of things. So
yep.
If somebody is talking about needing to sell their house, if somebody's talking about going through divorce, if somebody's talking about family just died, Facebook's picking up on that. And if somebody starts searching that, it further enhances, that ability to target that person. If somebody starts really looking and talking and engaging, puts a post on Facebook, searches Facebook, just all these things that we are doing right now as a society, you have to understand these platforms are free, but they come with a cost, and that's privacy. And so
totally.
The way that Facebook knows, a motivated seller from a non-motivated seller is through that. It's through a lot of the data that they let us have access to. And that's where the true power comes from.
Totally. And then for the people that maybe listen to this who are just like, kind of, with all the stuff that's been in the news lately about Facebook, I'm not getting involved. Grant, I'm not getting involved with Facebook. They're doing this or doing this. What do you say? Like Facebook's obviously taken some steps to improve certain security measures, but what do you say? Facebook kind of rules the marketing world right now.
It depends on who I'm talking to, because sometimes I'll say good, like don't, because then I don't have to worry about you coming into my space, right? So I think most of you are probably familiar with the term arbitrage, and that's what most investors have right now that are taking advantage of Facebook is an arbitrage, where they've got significant margins in the marketplace, especially at a time when direct mail cost is higher than it's ever been, when this form of advertising isn't working and this form of advertising isn't working, and I got to have a gun on me to go knock doors, and I got to go through this and this and this and this. If you don't want to do it, then don't, fine, but don't be upset in like a year or two or 3 or 4. Like, man, I should have done this 5 years ago. I should have done this when Grant told me that day on this podcast that this is where things were going to be at. Gary Vaynerchuk said at one time, back when Seinfeld was at its peak, it has the most views, everybody was tuning in every week. Advertisers didn't advertise with Seinfeld based on what Seinfeld was going to do 2 years from now. They advertised there because that's where the attention was right now. And so from your standpoint, if you're motivated, or if you're an investor looking for motivated sellers, this is where the attention is right now.
Yeah.
And in 2 to 3 years, it will be a little less profitable because of market saturation, which is what you're going through right now with direct mail.
Totally.
So
I agree.
While you can remain a skeptic, and I encourage you to remain a skeptic, don't let maybe the past failed experiences that you have deter you from going out there and doing stuff. Like, we have 6 people in our staff every day. Their entire job is studying these things, testing these things, analyzing Facebook. A lot of the recent data breaches with Facebook were in the UK because somebody that Facebook sold data to violated the terms of service, which Facebook doesn't agree with that. They never have, and they never will. So it's not like Facebook did anything wrong, but they're definitely going to step up, take care of their users, which is why they'll remain one of the best platforms that exist for a long time to come. And they're going to do a better job. Facebook came out and said, we're going to do this and this and this. I've never once been in a situation where Facebook did something that hurt my business. It's only every time they've made a change, my advertisement numbers have gotten better. And so, any adjustment that they've gotten, it's good.
So Grant, before we go, talk to that person, maybe like me a little bit, that has maybe used a program or used a service in the past and was not getting results through Facebook. what's different about what you're saying? What's different about your approach? Why should we listen to you? And why should we potentially use your service?
It's kind of like you don't know what you don't know. I could probably look in your ads and tell you where you made the mistakes. And it's kind of like,
well, I don't know what I did. I didn't do anything. I hired someone else to do it.
Well, that's also the unfortunate thing is you got to trust that the people that you are talking to are going to do you right. And that's why I give most of my information away. Like, honestly, we give so much value out there, so much content. Right. When I was at Wholesaling Inc., a guy named Mark walked up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I just want to thank you for your free trainings. In 2017, I made over 6 figures just from a lot of the free stuff that you gave away." Right. So we give away so much valuable content that, and we do that for a reason. It's because we understand that most people don't value anything for free. You look at society right now, and I've been listening to a lot of Earl Nightingale recently, so forgive me if I get a little deep here, but
wow,
the things that we value the most in life tend to cost us a lot of money, and the things that we value the least cost us nothing. Totally. But on the flip side of that, the most valuable things that we have on earth right now can't be paid for. You can't buy the brain you got, right? You can't, the lungs, the kidneys, the limbs, the faith, the family, all the greatest things that we have in life come to us for free. And so the only thing we have to do is take care of them. I was having a really deep conversation with somebody the other day. I said, what would it be like if you got the brain you were born until you were 25, and at the age of 25 you had to buy a new brain? Do you think that you would save up? Do you think that you would invest the best brain possible, or thing, right? Which is so funny because society has such an opportunity to literally buy a brain, not in a sense that I'm like you literally go cash out and buy a brain, but by investing, by reading books and acquiring knowledge and acquiring information that you can take and go really grow into something. I still take courses. I still study. I still analyze. And so
totally.
Why should we listen to you? I don't know. But what I do know is that the only thing I care about is your results. I don't care about what you think of me. And there's a lot of people that don't even like me, but I've made multiple 6 figures, some even millions of dollars. I don't give a crap what you like, if you like me or not. I give a crap that I get you results.
Totally.
And I'll be that blunt and I'll get in your face and I'll tell you what's what. But at the end of the day, it's because I love you, whoever you are, and I want you to get results. Whether that's a good enough reason for you to listen to me, I don't know. But if what you're looking for is an opportunity to overcome skepticisms, I would encourage you to reach out to guys like Bob Scott, who's made over $3 million in a year and a half from the work that we've done. I'd encourage you to reach out to the thousands of people that we've helped in the retail space, the hundreds of people we've helped in the investment space. I would encourage you to reach out to the almost 500 marketing agencies I've consulted for worldwide, helping them understand how to leverage Facebook advertising. I would encourage you to reach out to guys like Tom Kroll, who are going to give Grant Wise a stamp of approval. I would encourage you to reach out to guys like Grant Cardone that are putting out tweets every 2 or 3 hours talking about how Grant Wise has it figured out with Facebook ads. If you don't want to listen to me directly, that's fine. Go find the third party that, has the answers for you.
Social proof,
due diligence. That's what I would tell you, I guess.
That's social proof that Grant Wise knows what he's doing. Grant, before we go, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. What's the best? They maybe even potentially want to use your service. What's the best way people could reach out to you?
Yeah, we have go to my website. It's likegrantwise.com. LIKE, likegrantwise.com. That's my personal website. And from there, you'll kind of figure out like what all it is we do. You get to learn more about me, connect with me on all the social platforms, and learn more about some of the services that we offer. That would be the best way for you guys to do that.
Awesome. And you're not going to mention it, so I'll mention it. The Wholesaling Summit 2018 is going to be in Asheville, North Carolina in October 15, 16, and 17. And Grant Wise is one of the speakers. So yes. Check this out. It's in Asheville. It's about a 4.5, 5 hour drive from us here in Birmingham. I'm going to be there. Tom just called me and said that I'm going to get to be a speaker, so I'm excited about that. So I'm fired up to be there. I'm going to be there. We've got a couple other people from Alabama through the RIA, through Alaria, that are going to be there as well. So go, and Tom just told me that they're almost out of tickets. I think they have like, and unfortunately for you guys listening to this isn't going to come out for another few weeks. So you better get out there. You better go to this website and get tickets if you're interested in this at all. It's wholesalingsummit2018.com. Wholesalingsummit2018.com. October 15, 16, and 17 in Asheville, North Carolina, to hear from Mr. Grant Wise himself and probably meet him, get to shake his hand and really understand what he's up to, and also go to grantwise.com to learn more about him. Grant, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We really do appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. It was definitely an honor. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Guys, go hit the subscribe button, rate us, review us. We love you so much. We'll see you next time.